doing something remains even after the elections. So I think everybody is agreed on the need for the military to go to the barracks on a transfer to civilian role, but they're not all agreed on the timing
Right.
of when the different
Because
issues should
if
take
you go
place.
to correcting the electoral rolls, you could postpone the elections. I mean, they could conceivably be quite delayed.
I don't think so. After all, the electoral rolls have enrolled everybody. The enumerators enrolled everybody, and then what they did was cut out those who did not have a Nadra card.
Okay.
So all they have to do is re-enroll the people who did not have a Nadra card, or explain to us why those 30% are missing. For example, the Election Commission has said in some press report I read that the last lists were inaccurate, and therefore what the 30% off are really non-existent voters.
Right.
But we don't buy that because, for example, in my constituency, I have registered receipts of 3,500 voters in one union council who were not in the list. So if the Election Commission gives us the electoral list in electronic form, then all of us can run computer checks and verify whether what the Election Commission is implying through certain press statements of the last list being padded is correct or not. We know it's not correct in certain instances, but we can't come up with percentages unless they're transparent and give us the electronic rolls.
Do you have hope that the Election Commission will take sort of heart from the Supreme Court decision and become a little more independent? He already made, the Election Commissioner, Chief Election Commissioner, made a statement about General Musharraf's campaigning, and that was seen as a first step towards establishing some kind of bona fides.
Well, I'll be very happy if his heart becomes bigger and he starts accepting all the PPP demands. But we're still knocking away at his door, telling him give us electronic lists because we need to find out about these missing voters. And these are not just voters that we say are missing or duplicates. These are what the NDI and two NGOs in Pakistan
That's right.
have confirmed. So if you know of a way of making hearts bigger, do tell me.
We'll work on it.
Okay.
But again, if you come back to the issue of the president, and under the constitution, the president can dismiss the prime minister. So would you go into an election with that constitutional provision in place, or would you want to see it? Would you want to see a change before that?
Well, I certainly am double-minded about being a prime minister.
Oh,
With
president
the eighth, well, if the people of Pakistan so want, and the other political parties, we definitely need the other political parties. But I'm double-minded about that if there is the Eighth Amendment, because I think the Eighth Amendment just leads to political instability. But these are all speculative, it's all a way. And in my life, I've learned to deal with things one by one. And I find that if I deal with them one by one, things are much easier. Nawaz and I have signed, and Mr. Nawaz Sharif and I have signed this contract. Irrespective of whether he wins a majority or my party wins a majority, we are going to work together to repeal the Eighth Amendment.
And to not destabilize each other.
And not destabilize. I mean, there's a whole list of things on which we're going to work together. And that's what the parties of the ARD have decided. I'm not sure where the parties of all the APC stand, but I know that some of the parties, like the Fur.M parties, they too are against the excessive centralized state. So I feel that we have a pretty good chance of working together to try and restore some balance to the constitution unless the elections are nakedly rigged.
Because you had a problem with your own president, Mr. Farooq Laghari, a long time ago. So, this whole issue of the clash of responsibilities and clash of personalities, the president versus the prime minister. So that really needs to be sorted out before.
I don't see it as a clash of, I agree with you, it needs to be sorted out. But it's really, our country has unfortunately suffered terrible consequences after the Afghan jihad. And we have some very ruthless people in there who don't care for the sanctity of human life. We've seen the number of innocent families they have killed. They target men, and we lost our woman president, Secretary General of Islamabad, our woman president of a union council. They don't care about women or children or shedding innocent blood. And Islam says, do not shed innocent blood. So their acts are totally un-Islamic. They are not acting like Muslims, but they are there. And these people want to create a climate in Pakistan where they can function. So sometimes they use the president against the prime minister, and sometimes they use other dignitaries. So we've got to have a clarity in our constitution of who's responsible for what. And we can't have prime ministers who are at the mercy of presidents, who in turn are at the mercies of the security apparatus, who in turn are infiltrated by some extremists and hardliners.
So do you fear for your own safety, your security, your life in a situation like this? I mean, if your party workers can get attacked so easily?
Of course, that's an inherent risk we run in Pakistan. But I am grateful to the people of Pakistan for their prayers. And I feel that their prayers will protect me.